review our cross dance together. Remember, we start with our slow side steps, almost like a slow grapevine. And then we go back the other way. Make sure you're up and moving with me. You can't be still for this. And then we do our 3 jumps forward, 3 jumps back, 3 jumps in a circle, and pat, pat, pat. Great. All right, let's start the music. Be ready to be up and moving with me for cross dance. Step and cross behind, step and together. Step and cross behind, step and together. Then 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. Last time. Great job reviewing and doing the cross dance with me. I've had so much fun doing these folk dances with you this year. Do you remember our song, Tony Chestnut? And it's not just a guy named Tony Chestnut, but we point to our toes, knees, chest, nut. Ready? Nice and slow to start. Here we go. Tony Chestnut knows I love you. Tony knows, Tony knows, Tony Chestnut knows I love you. That's what Tony knows. Little faster, here we go. Tony Chestnut knows I love you. Tony knows, Tony knows, Tony Chestnut knows I love you. That's what Tony knows. All right, you better not be sitting down and watching this. Get up and move along with me. A little faster. Ready, go. Tony Chestnut knows I love you. Tony knows, Tony knows, Tony Chestnut knows I love you. That's what Tony knows. Oh, your hand's getting all jumbled up yet. It's really hard as it gets faster, isn't it? Here's a key, a trick that'll help you out. If you stay low and close to your toes, it's a little bit easier. So you're probably gonna see me this time as we get faster. I'm just gonna stay down low. See if I can scoop back so that I can touch my toes and my knees really quickly. 1, 2, ready, go. Tony Chestnut knows I love you. Tony knows, Tony knows, Tony Chestnut knows I love you. That's what Tony knows. You can't go any faster, can you? I don't think I can. Okay, we'll try just a little bit faster, but I don't think it's gonna work. 1, 2, ready, go. Tony Chest. I already messed up. 1, 2, ready, go. Tony Chest. I can't do it, guys. All right, you got this. We got this. We can do this. Ready? Here we go. Tony Chestnut knows I love you. Tony knows, Tony knows, Tony Chestnut knows I love you. That's what Tony knows. Okay, that was not right. Oh, I hope you had fun doing Tony Chestnut with me. I bet you did better at the end than I did. We're going to be singing our song Apple Tree. Hopefully you remember it. But let's start by singing our solfege syllables on our melody first. We start on so. If this is so, that's so too because it's on the same space. What about this one? What would it be? That's right. It would be me because we're going down lower. Very good. We have one more note in our song that we haven't talked about yet. Over here, it's a step above so, which would make it la. That's right. So let's try our song from the beginning on our so's, me's, and la's. Ready, sing, so, so, me, so, so, me, so, so, la, la, so, so, me, so, so, me, so, so, me, so, so, la, la, so, so, out. Yeah, at the end, we end on this different note that we don't know just yet. So we're keeping it covered with our apple. That was really good. Let's try it one more time on our solfege to give you some practice, and then we'll add our words. Ready, sing, so, so, me, so, so, me, so, so, la, la, so, so, me, so, so, me, so, so, me, so, so, la, la, so, out. Great work. Well, let's sing it with our words now. Ready, sing, apple tree, will your apples fall on me? I won't cry, I won't shout, if your apples knock me out. Great work. We'll have lots of chances to sing that song because we're going to try it with a game. So choose which apple you're going to cheer for to make it to the end. Pick which one you think it will be, and let's see how it goes. We'll see which apple is wormy at the end of every round. Keep a steady beat by pointing to the apples as we go. Ready, go, apple tree, will your apples fall on me? I won't cry, I won't shout, if your apples knock me out. Oh, that's our wormy apple. We have to sing a pattern to get back into the game, so let's sing this pattern. Remember, we start on so. Ready, sing, so, me, again, ready, go, so, me, great job. All right, here we start again. Was that your apple? If it is, pick another apple to cheer for. Let's see how we do. Ready, sing, apple tree, will your apples fall on me? I won't cry, I won't shout, if your apples knock me out. Oh no, there's our wormy apple. Let's see what pattern we have to sing to get back to our game. Ready, sing, so, la, so, again, ready, go, so, la, so. Good job. That worm, he looks like a tricky little guy. All right, here we go. Apple tree, will your apples fall on me? I won't cry, I won't shout, if your apples knock me out. Oh, there's our next wormy apple. Let's see what pattern we've got to sing. Oh, we don't start on so this time. What do we start on? That's right, me. Ready, sing, me, so, la, so. Good again, ready, me, so, la, so. Nice job singing those syllables. All right, let's get back and see what's left. Okay, if your apple's gone, just pick another one to start cheering for. Here we go, apple tree, will your apples fall on me? I won't cry, I won't shout, if your apples knock me out. Oh, there's our wormy apple. Okay, let's sing our pattern. We're starting on, that's right, me again. Ready, sing, me, me, so, so. Again, ready, go. Me, so, so. Beautiful job. All right, we're down to 4 apples. If yours has been eliminated, find another to cheer for. Here we go. Apple tree, will your apples fall on me? I won't cry, I won't shout, if your apples knock me out. Oh, the bottom one got wormy. Here's our pattern. Back starting on, so that's right, ready, sing. So, me, so. Good again, ready, so, me, so. Nice work. Okay, we're down to our last 3. Which one do you think is going to be the winner? Here we go. Ready, sing, apple tree, will your apples fall on me? I won't cry, I won't shout, if your apples knock me out. Oh, the top one is gone. If you thought that was going to make it to the end, I'm so sorry. He got wormy. Let's sing our pattern, ready, go. So, la, so, mi. Good again. So, la, so, mi. Very nice job. Okay, down to our last 2 apples. If yours is gone, you've got to choose one of these. Which apple will be the champion? Ready, sing, apple tree, will your apples fall on me? I won't cry, I won't shout, if your apples knock me out. Oh, the bottom one is gone. He got wormy. Ready, sing, so, la, la, so. Again, ready, go. So, la, la, so. Good job. And there is our champion apple. Woo! Is that the one that you picked? Did you cheer for that one? If you were cheering from that one, for that one from the start, good on you. Your apple won. All right, well, thanks for singing Apple Tree with me and helping me out with all of those solfege patterns. You did a great job. Please say and clap the following rhythms with me. We're going to say each rhythm pattern 2 times before we move on to the next one. 1, 2, ready, go. Ta, ta, ta-dee, ta. Good. Again. Ready, go. Ta, ta, ta-dee, ta. Nice work. Next one. Here we go. Ta, ta-dee, ta-dee, ta. Good. Again. Ready, go. Ta, ta-dee, ta-dee, ta. Beautiful job. Here's the next one. 1, going to learn a song called There's a Hole in My Bucket, and maybe you know this song and you've sung it before. The interesting thing about this song is it's a circle song. Have you ever heard that song? This is the song that never ends. Yes, it goes on and on, my friends. Some people started singing it not knowing what it was, and they'll continue singing it forever just because this is the song that never ends. And the end of the song leads it back to the beginning. That's a circle song. Well, so is There's a Hole in My Bucket. It's also a circle song. You'll see exactly at the end what I mean. So as we are listening to, learning, and singing along with this song, we're going to follow through this book. And as we do, we're following the adventure of Liza and Georgie and this bucket. So keep an eye on this bucket right here and the worms inside as we go through the book. And if you have a good time with it, you can always rewind it and do it again because it's not a very long song. But the song has an interesting feel. Instead of feeling like a marching feel of 1, 2, 1, 2, it has a feel like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So whenever it's Georgie's time to sing, we are going to use a cup pattern, super simple, just to keep the beat along with him. And when it's Liza's turn to sing, we'll use a body percussion pattern. So let's go over both of those right now. The Georgie cup pattern is just going to look like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Can you get your cup and practice doing that with me? Tap, 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 bottom, tap, tap, down, tap, tap. The Liza pattern is going to look like this. Pat, clap, snap, pat, clap, snap. Can you try that with me? I know it might feel a little bit quick, and if you can't snap again, please don't worry about it. It's totally okay. Just make the motion so that we feel that beat. That's what's important, that we're feeling how this music is moving differently than some of the music we've listened to before or sung before. All right, well, let's try both of those patterns with some music before we get into the book. I'm going to keep my camera down like this so that we can see both patterns all at one time. Okay, let's give it a try with the music.
There's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza, dear Liza. There's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza, a hole.
Then fix it, dear Georgie, dear Georgie, dear Georgie. Then fix it, dear Georgie, fix it.
With what shall I fix it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With what shall I fix it, dear Liza? With what?
With a straw, dear Georgie, dear Georgie, dear Georgie. With a straw, dear Georgie, a straw.
The straw is too long, dear Liza, dear Liza. The straw is too long, dear Liza, too long.
Cut the straw then, dear Georgie, dear Georgie, dear Georgie. Cut the straw, dear Georgie, cut it.
With what shall I cut it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With what shall I cut it, dear Liza? With what?
With a knife, dear Georgie, dear Georgie, dear Georgie. With a knife, dear Georgie, a knife.
The knife is too blunt, dear Liza, dear Liza. The knife is too blunt, dear Liza, too blunt.
Wet the knife then, dear Georgie, dear Georgie, dear Georgie. Wet the knife then, dear Georgie, wet it.
With what shall I wet it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With what shall I wet it, dear Liza? With what?
With a stone, dear Georgie, dear Georgie, dear Georgie. With a stone, dear Georgie, a stone.
The stone is too dry, dear Liza, dear Liza. The stone is too dry, dear Liza, too dry.
Wet the stone then, dear Georgie, dear Georgie, dear Georgie. Wet the stone then, dear Georgie, wet it.
With what shall I wed it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With what shall I wed it, dear Liza? With what?
With the water, dear Georgie, dear Georgie, dear Georgie. With the water, dear Georgie, dear Georgie, the water.
In what shall I get it, dear Liza, dear Liza? In what shall I get it, dear Liza? In what?
In the bucket, dear Georgie, dear Georgie, dear Georgie. In the bucket, dear Georgie, dear Georgie, the bucket.
But there's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza, dear Liza. There's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza, a hole.
Very good job helping me go through with the cut pattern and our body percussion pattern. Did you hear some words that maybe you weren't as familiar with? Well, I did. Whenever they said the knife was too blunt, what does that mean? Blunt. It means dull. It wasn't sharp enough to cut the straw. What about when she said, then wet it? Like make the knife wet? That doesn't make any sense. How's that going to help? Well, it's not the normal kind of like get your hair wet to wash it. It's W-H-E-T, wet, which means to sharpen a knife. So she's telling him to sharpen the knife. And she tells him to sharpen it on a stone, but the stone's too dry. Did you know, and I learned this when I had to learn how to make my own oboe reeds in music school, you have to have a stone be wet in order for it to sharpen a knife well when you slide the knife against it. Isn't that crazy? So then we sing the actual kind of like wet with water wet. But then what's the problem at the end whenever he doesn't know how to get the water because there's a what? There's a hole in the bucket, so it starts it all over again. And that's how the circle song works. Well, let's check out our song with the book now. And big challenge, see if with the book and the song you can keep doing your pattern. I would love to see if you can do it.
There's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza, dear Liza. There's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza, a hole.
Then fix it, dear Georgie, dear Georgie, dear Georgie. Then fix it, dear Georgie, dear Georgie, fix it.
With what shall I fix it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With what shall I fix it, dear Liza? With what?
With a straw, dear Georgie, dear Georgie, dear Georgie. With a straw, dear Georgie, dear Georgie, a straw.
The straw is too long, dear Liza, dear Liza. The straw is too long, dear Liza, too long.
Cut the straw then, dear Georgie, dear Georgie, dear Georgie. Cut the straw, dear Georgie, dear Georgie, cut it.
With what shall I cut it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With what shall I cut it, dear Liza? With what?
With a knife, dear Georgie, dear Georgie, dear Georgie. With a knife, dear Georgie, dear Georgie, a knife.
The knife is too blunt, dear Liza, dear Liza. The knife is too blunt, dear Liza, too blunt.
Wet the knife then, dear Georgie, dear Georgie, dear Georgie. Wet the knife then, dear Georgie, dear Georgie, wet it.
With what shall I wet it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With what shall I wet it, dear Liza? With what?
With a stone, dear Georgie, dear Georgie, dear Georgie. With a stone, dear Georgie, dear Georgie, a stone.
The stone is too dry, dear Liza, dear Liza. The stone is too dry, dear Liza, too dry.
Wet the stone then, dear Georgie, dear Georgie, dear Georgie. Wet the stone then, dear Georgie, dear Georgie, wet it.
With what shall I wet it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With what shall I wet it, dear Liza? With what?
With the water, dear Georgie, dear Georgie, dear Georgie. With the water, dear Georgie, dear Georgie, the water.
In what shall I get it, dear Liza, dear Liza? In what shall I get it, dear Liza? In what?
In the the bucket, dear Georgie, dear Georgie, dear Georgie. In the bucket, dear Georgie, dear Georgie, the bucket.
But there's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza, dear Liza. There's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza, a hole.
Hey y'all, we have a song today. It's got some rhythms that we already know in it, and we're going to see if we can get the solfege for it as well. I'm trying to get a good place for my picture, I guess. So here we go. We're going to clap and say these rhythms first. Here we go. Ready and go. Ta, 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 ta. Ta-dee, ta-dee, ta, ta. Ta-dee, ta, ta-dee, ta. Ta-dee, ta, ta-dee, ta. Nothing there we haven't seen before. We already know that. Now, if we take this information and we look for those steps and skips, I bet we will find some. I am noticing that right here, I have a line going to a space. So if I am a line going to the next space, I've got to be a step. That right there is a step. Now, if I go from space to line, I still am stepping down. Then I go from line to a line. That has to be a skip. I'm skipping this space right here. So I have a skip here. So that has to be our so and our me. So has to be our higher one. Me has to be our lower one. There's our skip. And I have to go and step up to our highest sound. So that has to be our la. So we have so, la, so, and me. And then we have the same three pitches in the rest of the song. It's just they're with a ta or a toddy. Let's see. Here they are all labeled for us. Remember that we're going to use our hand sign for so, and then our la, and then our me is going to be our flat floor. So here we go. We have our wall, our arch, and then our floor. Here we go. Let me move this over here. Maybe that would be better. Yeah, I think that is. All right, here we go. Ready and go. So, la, so, mi. So, la, la, so, mi. So, la, so, mi. So, la, so, mi. Let's sing that one more time. Here we go. Fix anything you need to fix this time? Ready and go. So, la, so, mi. So, la, la, so, mi. So, la, so, mi. So, la, so, mi. Now, this song has some words that go to it, and they are right here. I get my picture out of the way. We're going to go bounce high, bounce low, bounce the ball to Shiloh, bounce it up, bounce it down, bounce the ball all around. Can you help me sing it this time? Ready and go, bounce high, bounce low, bounce the ball to Shiloh, bounce it up, bounce it down, bounce the ball all around. Can you help me clap it with the rhythm? Here we go. Ready and go. Bounce high, bounce low. Bounce the ball to Shiloh. Bounce it up, bounce it down. Bounce the ball all around. Very nice job, boys and girls. We're going to get to play the game now. So I need you to go and get a ball that you can bounce. If it's a kind of big ball, it would be a good ball to bounce with. It's easy to catch. Little balls are really hard to catch. And if it's too big, then that's going to be way too hard to catch too. So you need to find a ball that's right in the middle, kind of like a basketball. So go find that ball right now and then come on back. And I'll see you here in a minute. Now that you're back and you have your ball, we're going to practice bouncing and catching here for just a second. Here we go. We go bounce and catch, 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 bounce and catch. You'll notice that when I am doing my catch, I'm not side by side, I'm not at the top, because that would mean I'm ready to bounce more. But I'm kind of underneath it and I'm kind of cupping it. So I want to make sure I cup that ball to catch it really good. If I'm right here, that's kind of hard to catch. But if I'm underneath it, I know I'm going to get it. So let's do that. Here we go. Ready and go. Bounce and catch. 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 Good job practicing that bouncing and catching. This time, I want you to see if you can keep that bounce and catch going when we sing our song. So I'm going to say it 4 times. Bounce and catch, bounce, catch, bounce and catch, bounce and catch. And then we're going to start singing our song. So be ready to start singing with me. Here we go. Ready and go. Bounce and catch, bounce and catch, bounce and catch, bounce and catch. Bounce high, bounce low, bounce the ball to shallow, bounce it up, bounce it down, bounce the ball all around, bounce high, bounce low, bounce the ball to shallow, bounce it up, bounce it down, bounce the ball all around. Now, if you get really good at that, then you might be able to bounce and catch it between different people. So when you're doing that, you want to kind of find a spot that's in the middle so it makes it all the way to that person. Of course, I don't have a second person here to show you, but I bet you can figure it out. You and your parents can figure out how to bounce it between each other and then just sing the song with it. When we're bouncing our ball, do you notice what we're keeping? Did you figure it out? I want you to listen to it one more time and see if you can figure out what our ball is keeping. Here we go. Ready and go. Bounce and catch. Bounce and catch. Bounce and catch. Bounce and sing. Bounce high. Bounce low. Bounce the ball to shallow. Bounce it up. Bounce it down. Bounce the ball all around. Did you figure out what our ball kept? It's the steady beat. So when you're practicing your singing and you're practicing your bouncing, make sure that you're keeping that steady beat. It's not going too fast, not going too slow. It's right there. And then when you're practicing passing it between you and your parents or your brother and sister, make sure that that beat still stays there. It's lots of fun when you play with someone else. So I will see y'all later. Enjoy playing Bounce High. Bye.